Woo-hoo! The Bill Cosby of compliments. Whoa, that's terrifying. How's everybody doing?
Yeah.
Yeah? Well, I grew up in a trailer park. I feel like there are a lot of misconceptions about girls who grow up in trailer parks, though. Seriously, I only stripped for a year. But hey, it's all good now that we're going to have one as our first lady, right? Right? Yeah. Anyway, what was I going to do? I had teenage parents that were barely out of high school, let alone prison. My mother, she told me this. She says, Tammy, I'm popping Adderall. I said, Ma, that's pharmaceutical speed. She says, yeah, I know. It's awesome. I'm like, Ma, you're 64. She said, oh, but I need it to keep up with the baby. I said, baby? My mother's had a baby ever since my 19-year-old niece took her my 19-year-old niece. That was a Freudian slip. Ever since my 19-year-old niece took her newborn over to visit and then left her on an errand. We haven't seen her since. That's right, my mother is raising her great-granddaughter, which is insane. This is a woman who did such a piss-poor job raising her own daughters that the white trash trickle-down effect went 2 generations. You see what I'm saying? The very fact that she has to raise her great-granddaughter should be the exact reason she shouldn't be allowed to. You know? We just can't rely on child protective services like you used to. You pretty much have to give your kid a black eye nowadays for anyone to pay attention. My mother is 64 years old. She's on 60 milligrams of Adderall a day. She's basically got a propeller growing out of the top of her head. She recently set her hair on fire. No one cares. I mean, her neighbors came rushing over, but that's just because they thought she was having a barbecue. I need to stop feeling sorry for these girls on shows like Teen Mom. I mean, yeah, sure, they're shitty parents, but they're gonna get a second chance at 60 because that's how that shit works. I mean, it's not like my mother is, a great role model. She's a 64-year-old teenager. She's hopped up on prescription meth. She's chock full of bad ideas. For instance, she recently told me that she wanted to reconnect with an old high school boyfriend. So naturally, she looked him up on Facebook and she sent him a message and she told him that I was his child. Yeah. Right? Exactly. Forget about him, what about me? She said it to me so casually, like she was telling me the Outback Steakhouse had run out of the bloomin' onion. That would be upsetting, but you understand my point. She's like, Tammy, you don't even look like the rest of the family. I said, well, yeah, Mom, but that's because I've had some work done. Just my nose and my tits. As part of my entrance package to the witness protection program. You ever look back at a time in your life and wonder, what the fuck was I thinking? Just me? Just me? Yeah. There I was 21 years old and I was in my Wonder Woman outfit and I was dancing for this fat cat oil man. I had my indestructible Amazon bracelets on. I had me my lasso of truth. Back to life. Back to reality. Boom, boom. That guy hands me $2,500 in cash. I hadn't even taken my clothes off. I was like, hey now. So this is how the world works. I just shimmy my titties and I can pay my rent. Now I have a much deeper understanding for all those colorful characters on Hollywood Boulevard. Stripping wasn't for me. After Moose the doorman got shot, I decided, nope, not for me. So I did what any smart businesswoman would do, and I got myself a sugar daddy. Oh yeah. His name was George. He was a doctor. I describe him as a cross between Bill Murray and a garden gnome. He had the skin complexion of a beef patty. Not lean. He stood about 4'11" in heels because he liked to wear them sometimes. A typical day with George was wake up at noon, look in the mirror, pop 4 Vicodin, try not to kill myself, and then take a nap. He regulated all my medication, or as he liked to call it, communion. One summer he had me so hopped up on opiates I thought, I shot Kurt Cobain. I know it sounds glamorous, but I don't recommend getting a sugar daddy. I don't recommend getting a job either, but having a sugar daddy was the hardest money I ever didn't work for. But didn't I, though? I mean, I had to have sex with a man that I was not at all attracted to. You know, I don't know. Something about the way he touched me like my grandfather did, like he wasn't supposed to. You know, his palms were clammy, his touch was hesitant. I mean, it's not like I was, you know, it was just kind of involved. I had to lick his balls, and it's like, I don't have a thing against licking a set of balls. I mean, I will lick a set of balls until the cows come home, but there's no greater difference in the universe than a set of balls on a man that you're attracted to, and a set of balls on a man that you aren't. It's like comparing apples to balls you just don't want to fucking lick. You know you don't want to lick a set of balls when to avoid it, you will eat pussy instead! Just me? Just me. I mean, you know, having a sugar daddy, it's not like, you know, you're dealing in cold, hard cash. There's a lot of finessing involved, you know? Sometimes you gotta take your payments in hand-woven rugs and crotchless panties. I knew 6 minutes into this arrangement that it was really toxic, so I broke it off. 11 years later. I mean, he was my primary care physician, you know. We all know how hard those are to come by. Anyway, with such a colorful upbringing, I am actually in a stable relationship. I'm coming up on 15 years of marriage. Longest